Hello, welcome back HR students. Today I am dealing with the topic of International Human Resource Management, and as I talked about culture in IHRM in the previous video, we are continuing with the same topic, that is the role of culture in employee management, how culture influences employees are managed in organizations. I am Tanuja Nair, working as Associate Professor in MBA department at AMC Engineering College. So we will see which are the cultural factors which influence how employees are managed. What is the organization's attitude to power and authority determines how the employees are managed. What is the tolerance level of the organization towards uncertainty and risk also influences how they manage their employees. How much trust the organization has in their employees also affects how they manage their employees. Whether the organization belongs to individualistic culture or collectivist culture affects how they manage their employees. And what is the leadership style which is followed in organizations also affects how their employees are managed. So we see the first factor, attitude to power and authority. When there is lot of inequality of power due to wealth or education or politics or social positions or due to caste or class, this is usually seen at the macro level in nations. In such nations, at the micro level, you see that the people are not willing or they are scared to challenge the authority of their parents or religious leaders, teachers, etc. So, in countries like India and Russia, there is high inequality cultures where there is lot of inequality in the society due to wealth or due to politics or due to caste, etc. Whereas countries like US have low inequality cultures. There is not much inequality among the people due to wealth, education, etc. So, what is the nation's culture influences what kind of hierarchical structure the organization will have. If it is an individualistic culture or a high inequality culture nation, the organization hierarchical structure will be triangular shape with many levels. Whereas if the nation's culture is low inequality, then the organizational structure will be more like informal, like a flattened triangle, which is flexible and with few layers in it. In high inequality cultures, the employees will respect authority and they will not dare to challenge them. The management style in such cultures is more paternalistic or autocratic. That means, like a parent or like a dictator, the managers will manage the organizations. Usually, such organizations will be centralized. That means all the decisions will be taken at the higher levels and there will be flow of instructions from top to bottom. That means only one way flow of information will be there from the higher levels of management to the lower levels of management in the form of instructions and guidelines. In low equality cultures, if you see, the employees respect their managers and they treat them more like their co-workers. And the seniors consult with juniors before taking major decisions. The management style is more participative or consultative. That means they allow their employees, lower level employees, to participate in decision making or they consult with their employees before taking decisions. And as I told you, in low inequality cultures, the hierarchical structure of organizations is more like a flattened triangle and flexible with leaderless teams. There will be no leaders, the teams only will manage themselves. Tolerance for uncertainty and risk and how it affects their employee management. In such kind of organizations where they have very low tolerance for uncertainty and risk, that means they are not willing to handle uncertainty and they are not ready to take risky decisions. They leave the decision making powers to their superiors. And in such organizations, the senior managers will take the major decisions without consulting with their juniors. Organizations which are operating in those cultures where there is high tolerance for uncertainty and risk, like in the Western region, US, Canada, etc., the organizations there are able to handle uncertainty and they are ready to take risky decisions too. So, such kind of organizations are entrepreneurial in nature and they have a decentralized organizational structure. That means they delegate some of the decision making powers to the lower levels of employees. Interpersonal trust and its effect on employee management. How much trust the organization has on their employees will affect how they manage their employees. So, in some cultures, if you see, interpersonal trust is more, they trust their employees more, and in some cultures, the interpersonal trust is less. So, this attitude depends upon the extent of corruption that you see in the organizations. If people are mostly honest and have high work ethics, then the managers will trust them more to take important decisions. But in those cultures where there is too much of corruption and dishonesty, along with that low level skills are there, then the managers will trust only a few employees and delegate the decision making powers to them. Those few trusted employees will be mostly their relatives and friends. Like in India, if you see the family run businesses, there will be few trusted employees which will be their family members only who will be given the decision making powers within the organization. Individualism and collectivism. These are two cultures and how it affects employee management. So, individualistic cultures are those cultures where the people are selfish and they are more bothered about their self interest. Collectivist cultures, people in those cultures are more worried about the group interest rather than their self interest and they are ready to make personal sacrifices. Individualistic cultures give lot of value for independence to privacy and they believe in their own worth. Whereas collectivist cultures, they consider the whole group's interest first before considering their personal interest. So collectivist groups will be like the person belonging to family or to his community where he is staying or to his work group. Organizations which belong to individualistic cultures usually have a contractual employee relationship. That means the employee is working there till the work gets done. Usually you will see this contractual relationship among the shop floor employees, that is employees working at the factory level or in the lower clerical level of employees. And if they work beyond the working hours, they will be paid overtime. And in such employees, their professional life and personal life is kept separately. In collectivist cultures, those organizations which are in collectivist cultures, the relationship between employer and employee is more emotional. The employee has a more emotional connect with his workplace. His private life and professional life is not kept separate, and the manager in such organizations will be considered as a father figure or mother figure by the employees, and the employees will consult with them regarding their private matters too. And in such organizations, the lower level employees and the managers, seniors, are ready to work beyond the usual hours without getting overtime. In such organizations, the employees' well being is taken care of and they expect loyalty and commitment in return from such employees. So there are two groups to which employees belong to. One is the in group and the other is the out group. In group is those groups where the employees is more emotionally close to, like his family group or sports group or religious group or cultural group. So when employees belong to such in groups, they are more loyal to such groups and they are ready to make personal sacrifices. In individualistic cultures, if you see, in groups are very few in number, and if they are there, they are very small. The groups are not very large. The in groups are quite small in individualistic cultures. In collectivist cultures, if you see, the in groups are quite big. Like if you see family members, it will not only include parents, grandparents, it will also include their uncle, aunts, cousins, etc. So such big in groups are found in countries like India, Russia, and Iran, Japan, which is following collectivist cultures. For example, if you see in Japanese culture, the employee's workplace is his in group. He is quite emotionally attached to his workplace and he is more loyal to his workplace and he is ready to make personal sacrifices. Outgroups are those groups where the employee belongs to. He is not very emotionally attached to such groups and he is less loyal and committed to such kind of outgroups. Such outgroups are found in more in individualistic cultures and in a few collectivist cultures. So whatever the employee belongs to, whichever group the employee belongs to, whether it is in group or out group, affects what kind of relationship he has with his workplace. If it is in group, then if his workplace is an in group, then he will be emotionally attached to his workplace. He will be more committed and loyal to his workplace and he will be ready to make personal sacrifices. But if his workplace is an out group, then he will not be so loyal and committed. He will not be so emotionally attached to his workplace and he will not be ready to make personal sacrifices in his workplace. So, four leadership styles have been observed with regard to employee management: democratic participative, democratic consultative, benevolent autocratic, and cohesive autocratic are the four leadership styles that have been identified. Democratic participative is a participative leader who consults with others before taking a major decision, and he will also accept what is the majority people's decision. For example, if a leader wants to build a hospital in an organizational leader wants to build a hospital in a community, then he will consult with his employees before taking the major decision. Democratic consultative is a consultative leader who will consult with his group members before taking the final decision. But he will take the final decision himself, which will be accepted by all. Benevolent autocratic is a kind of leader who will not consult with others before taking major decisions, but he will have the group's interest at heart and he will consider the community's interest before taking a decision, and then he will persuade others to accept his decision. Cohesive autocratic is a kind of leader who forces other people to take his decision, and he takes his decision without any disregard for his people's interest. He does not consider his people's interest before taking decisions, and he forces his decision upon others. So the two leadership styles that is found mostly in organizations today is the participative consultative leader and the benevolent autocratic leader. So participative consultative leader is found in those cultures which has high tolerance for uncertainty and risk. So, in countries like US and Canada and other Western countries, the leaders are more participative, consultative type of leaders. So, they consult with their people before taking major decisions. Benevolent autocratic type of leader is found in those cultures which has low tolerance for uncertainty and risk. Like the Asian country region like India, Japan, Russia, you find more benevolent autocratic type of leaders. Here the people are not ready to take risk, so they leave the major decision making to their leaders and they are not ready to sacrifice their own interest too. So in most parts of the world, these two leadership styles are what we see. So a benevolent autocratic leader is looked upon as more as a father figure, and a participative consultative leader is considered more as a part of the team itself, as a member of the team itself. So two main leadership styles are there in organizations: task oriented and employee oriented. Task oriented means where the leader is more worried about completing the task. He is not worried about the employees, he is more worried about the work getting done. Employee oriented leader gives more importance to employees and he is not much bothered about getting the task done. Usually you find both the styles being followed by leaders. It depends upon which culture they belong to. So individualistic culture leaders will be following the more task-oriented form of leadership style, and collectivist culture leaders will be following the more employee-oriented leadership style. The Japanese people will consider their supervisor as employee oriented when he spends more time at work beyond the official hours without taking overtime, and when the supervisor learns about his employees' personal problems, he discusses about that employee's personal problems with others in his absence. Usually this is found in the collectivist cultures like Japan, India, etc. And they encourage juniors by discussing their career plans with them, discussing the progress of the project with them. They spend more social time with juniors. They evaluate the group's performance with all the group members. The Britishers view their supervisor as employee oriented when he frequently explains the working of an equipment to the group members when he encourages juniors to give suggestions for work improvements, and if there is a problem, he discusses it with all the group members. He has a more informal relationship with his employees. They address each other by first names. So, in British individualistic cultures, discussing a colleague's personal problem behind his back is considered unacceptable. It is like invading his privacy. Employee oriented British supervisors are seen as more task oriented, whereas Japanese supervisors are seen as more employee oriented. But if you see in today's world, the participative consultative type of leaders is found more everywhere, whether it is individualistic culture or consultative culture, the collectivist culture, because in India and Japan also you see that the collectivist culture has been changing, and the leaders are becoming more participative and consultative rather than autocratic leaders. So the leadership style also you are seeing has gone undergone a change irrespective of which culture the organization belongs to, whether individualistic culture or collectivist cultures. And also in collectivist cultures you see less of formal relationship between employer and employee. There is more informal relationship between them. There is less of power distance between employer and employee in collectivist cultures too. And employees are also not so emotionally attached to their workplace. In collectivist cultures like Japan and India, people have become more like employees in the individualistic cultures, where they are not very loyal and committed to their jobs. They keep switching jobs in search of better prospects. So theoretically, this is what is the factors in cultural which influences employee management. But in reality, if you see, a change is happening the world over. Everywhere you see more of participative consultative leaders and more of individualistic culture which is followed by organizations everywhere. Okay, thank you. I'll come with the another topic in my next class.